world has changed. America has changed. If something were to happen tomorrow, how self-sufficient would you be? Could you grow your own food? Could you sustain your own livestock? Could you survive? This is the We Grow Our Show with Nick and Don. Nick and Don talk about everything from politics to planting. They cover techniques, methods, and tips on how to not only survive, but thrive. Visit the website at WeGrowOurs.com. Lock and load. This is the We Grow Our Show. Get your grow on.
Welcome back to the We Grow Our Show. That's Dubgo. Is that what we're going for?
I don't know yet.
WGO, broadcasting live from the Situation Room.
Lock and load.
Except that we're not live. You're listening to a recording.
Shh, don't tell people that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've done a live show.
Yeah, we did.
We should actually do another live show.
I don't know. I had to really watch my language.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We do editing here. So, yes, it would be difficult.
We do.
Which is why we do editing.
Awesome.
Well, we've got some fun stuff today.
Heck yeah.
So we've got a buddy of yours.
Friend of mine, Boyd Craven, will be joining us a little bit later. I'm really excited. He's head of the Backyard Meat Rabbits group on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm really excited about his new product.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be awesome.
It is awesome.
Yes. Well, I say gonna be because I haven't made anything with it yet. It came in the mail. I opened it up. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. My wife's like, okay, let's go to Pima. I'm like, oh, I want to play with my new toy.
Yeah, so we're going to have him on in a few minutes and talk about that new toy.
Yeah.
And some other things rabbit related. So we've done a lot of shows on rabbits. We've done shows on aquaponics. Imagine why. I don't know.
It's almost like the host of the show is a rabbit guy.
He's a rabbit guy, imagine that.
And then an aquaponics dude.
Yeah, but we've got some other things we want to do.
That's right.
So, I mean, we've done a lot of other stuff too. Mm-hmm. Gasification. Heck, we had an episode on duct tape.
Yeah.
So we do more than just rabbits and aquaponics.
We should follow that up with another episode on duct tape. Duct tape is versatile.
I know. Yeah, so we should. And that's what we want is for everybody to go on to WeGrowOurs.com/ask us or on the Facebook page. Send us some questions because like last week, I mean, episode, what was that, 33? Yep. Brian asked us a question, turned into an entire episode.
Yes, it did.
So it didn't even mean to do that.
Yep.
So send us the questions and suggestions on the shows. I know we've gotten a lot of suggestions. We're going to talk about beef, cattle. I think you know someone, don't you? Know a guy who raised cattle or something like that? Because I'm pretty sure.
Raised what?
Cattle, beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh. Only all of my family.
Okay, so I think we maybe know someone that can come on and talk about cows.
Yep, I got to talk him into coming on, but I spoke with my dad earlier today, and it's hilarious. We've been doing this now for how many months? I mean, February to now is
January.
8 months, right?
8 months, yeah.
So for 8 months we've had this show going, and today I'm talking to my dad. I was like, "Yeah, well, the podcast I'm doing." He's like, "The what?" Well, it's an internet radio show. Who the hell listens to the internet? Dad, I've been doing this for like 8 months. I'm sure I told you this before. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, I know I did. Anyway, we teach people to grow their own food. And he's like, yeah, well, I grow my own food. And I grow food for other people. I'm like, you're just so smart. Do you want to come on the show? And he's just like, I don't know, maybe after a 6-pack I might be able to handle it. I'm like, yes. Anyway, so if I can talk him into it, maybe buy him a few beers and get him on the show.
There we go. I'd love that.
That'll be a party.
So we should do a dad's thing. I gotta get my dad on. Dad, I know you listen every once in a while anyway. Yeah. So give me some ideas on what you want to come on. Cause he comes on and goes over my head so quick. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's an engineer. So if we want to learn about how oil refineries are designed, I can have my dad on, but I don't know if anybody wants to hear that.
Well, unless he's got an idea of designing your own.
Oil refinery? I'm sure he does. Dad, just give me a call. So we want to do a couple shows on weapons. I want to do weapons.
Weapons are good.
And not just, guns for the sake of guns, but something like, what gun do you choose for home defense? And why? And in what situation? And what gun do you choose for concealed carry? What are you looking for? What kind of stopping power? All that kind of stuff. So some real stuff on like choosing a proper weapon, training on the proper weapon.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dillon Arrow 6-barrel.
Yeah. So
laying waste to everything.
I'll just stick with the 12 gauge.
Oh, could you imagine a 6-barrel 12 gauge?
No. I'm sure Rambo could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I couldn't fire it. I would fall over.
Oh, I'm
3,600 rounds.
Fixed gun implement. I'm not talking like.
Yeah. How many rounds does that?
It's 3,600 rounds a minute.
A minute.
Because each barrel,
In a
I don't know
12 gauge.
I don't think a shotgun would do that though. You don't have that kind of cycle power with a shotgun.
Oh, so 1,000 rounds a minute with a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't holding that. It's gotta be mounted.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Looks like I'm buying something new. When
New
I'm
toy.
a millionaire.
So yeah, I want to do something like that. I'd love to, I've talked to a couple people that do self-defense. Mm-hmm. So Krav Maga type stuff, martial arts, women's, self-defense, some basic moves. It's hard to do on a radio thing that showed basic moves.
Let me demonstrate this next move. Don's face is in the ground.
Yeah. Exactly.
Before the show started, Don told me I couldn't bang on the table, but I just broke the rules. It was fun.
So we're going to do some shows like that too.
And anything else you guys want to do. So please get online, facebook.com/WeGrowOurs, and tell us what you want.
Yeah, that would be good. So what else we got?
We got Boyd coming up. Let's just have him on.
That sounds good.
What will you do when your stored supplies run out? Are you prepared? Hostile Hair provides equipment and education you need to control your own infinite food supply. We have live food storage systems, rabbits, quail, and other urban livestock for any situation and strategy. Don't be limited by what's on the shelves. Get started with an infinite food source today. Get prepped, stay fed with Hostile Hair. Call 480-331-3761 or visit hostilehair.com.
Welcome back to the We Grow Ours show. We've got a very special guest with us today. We've got Mr. Boyd Craven, the head of the Backyard Meat Rabbits movement, would you say?
Yeah, we could call it that.
So what got you into rabbits? What was the catalyst that said, hey, I need to raise rabbits in my backyard? That's not a decision that everybody just makes.
Well, when I was a kid, I grew up out in the country. And I started hunting when I was 9. I hunted rabbits and pheasants and such with my dad. And I learned to like the taste of wild game. And we had farms all around us, so I knew what real food tasted like, what real meat tasted like. And then when I got 18 years old, I went to work for GM and got married at 19 and had kids at 20. And, next thing I know, I was 48 and retired. Had the chance to get out of GM with 30 years service. I got the hell out.
Well done.
And I had this bucket list. I wrote, after watching that movie, The Bucket List, I made a bucket list. And on that list was write a book. I never wrote a book before. So I said, what can I write about? I love raising rabbits. When I retired, I decided to get back into raising rabbits in the traditional sense. All wire cages, feeding them pellets, inside the garage, by the book pretty much stuff. And it just didn't feel like I remembered it when I was a kid. So I'm kind of a rebel, sort of. And I got to thinking, I got to get outside the box here a little bit. And so I started doing things my own way. And I wrote that book about it, Backyard Meat Rabbits.
Which is a great book.
That's what I started to say. I started to say earlier, that's where the group came from. It was originally intended as a questions and answers group that I could do for free for people that wanted more information on their book, because it's 100 pages. It's more of a guide. Mm-hmm. This way focused on what I do and what works for me. So I named that group after it. Hell, there's 17,000 people in there as of tonight.
I was just going to ask what the numbers were, but that's pretty astounding number.
Apparently people are interested in raising rabbits for meat in their backyards. So.
Well, and then that's the name of the group, so it works out pretty good when they search for it, right?
Yeah, it does.
Now, how long ago did you write that first book?
I wrote that in 2012.
Okay. And then since then you came out with my next favorite, which is the Beyond the Pellet, correct?
Yep. About a year later, writing with my co-author, Rick Warden. He's from Maine. He owns Rise and Shine Rabbitry in Maine. And he has a good website with lots of information on there, too. You guys ought to talk to him sometime, too. It's just what the title says, Beyond the Pellet. I started out in backyard meat rabbits, talking about grazing rabbits on not just Kentucky bluegrass lawn, planting white clover and dandelions on purpose and other broadleafs and good things for rabbits to eat, and kind of making, I call it, backyard pasture.
That's funny. Growing up, dandelions, my dad hated those things. Like, oh, I can't get these dandelions to die. And, there are just tons and tons of dandelions back in Wisconsin, but now it's like, oh, I can't get my dandelions to grow. It's kind of a switch there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. There's a lot of people that ask, well, what can you feed rabbits other than pellets? And I really enjoyed the book because it's not just a list of things that you can feed them. It's how you maintain their food. It's how you feed your food, really. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
How you feed your food is critical to understand. And in order to understand what to feed them, you have to understand how they work.
Mm-hmm.
So the first chapter was just a little history on pellets. The second chapter was a rabbit's digestive system.
That's right.
You kind of have to understand what's going on inside the rabbit's body, and then you can kind of logic out what to feed them and what not to feed them and why. And that's really the best and most important chapter in that book. And then the rest of it is kind of like what you guys do on your shows here that I like so much. You just kind of talk about it and see where it goes.
Well, you got us pegged. Now, you've taken it a step further, and not only are you saying the cut and carry system, which is, I love that phrase, by the way. You're actually going out, cutting down what you have available and feeding it to the rabbits. But you've designed a mechanism for pelletizing, correct?
Yep. We've got what I've termed the cubit press. And what it does is all the stuff that you gather, I've been working on this for about 2 years as well. And all the stuff that you gather, the question is, what do you do with it in the winter? How do you feed it when it rains? I dropped a brick on my foot and broke all my toes. How do you feed your rabbits when you can't walk? Or if you go on vacation? All these things, see? That's what pellets are good for. They're convenient.
Mm-hmm.
They're like McDonald's. It's easy. There's X amount of varieties of pellets, and you choose the one that is supposedly good for your rabbits, and you feed them, and it eliminates a lot of mistakes. And it's easy for beginners to learn that way until you get to learn what's going on behind the scenes. And then you got to question it and want to do what I do and feed natural. But
yeah,
we make cute.
I think that's generally the path. You're starting out, you start with this little, we'll call it little X factor as possible. You want to start with the least amount of variables. You want to start with something that works, and then from there branch out.
Yep.
That's, when I started out, that was exactly what we did. It was pellets. It was formulated for the rabbits, and it was easy. It was organized. Everything was fine. But then from there, there's things you can do to lower the cost. You start feeding fodder, doing the cut and carry, planting a lawn to feed your rabbits. Yeah, that's just kind of the flow that the good rabbiteers follow, right, Boyd?
Right. The only ongoing cost of raising rabbits is the feed.
That's right.
There is nothing else. I mean, you buy a good cage, you buy all your equipment, and you got to replace it once in a while, and you got to clean it and maintain it. But they, just like us, they eat every day. And the price of feed just keeps going up, and the quality of the feed just keeps going down.
What this mechanism that you've got does is you take all of those fresh clippings and put it into this and create a large cube out of it that you can feed. How long do those last in a typical rabbitry? Is for one rabbit, that's what, a 2-inch by 2-inch cube?
Yes, this one's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and you can make them varying heights depending upon, just how much of a charge you put inside the chamber. But you're going for 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Eyeball it.
Okay.
And that was we designed that for the average 8 or 9 pound meat rabbit. Okay. And what that is it's about 3 ounces of dry weight that you're going to feed one in the morning and one in the evening. Because that's, in my feeding programs, I try to mimic nature. Rabbits get up at dawn and they eat. And then they play around with the girls a little bit, and then they go down in their burrow, and they rest and digest and hide until evening, just like deer. And then they come back out again, and they do it all over again. They eat. So I try to mimic that, so I feed mine twice a day, half in the morning and half in the evening.
Nice. And this really, you can go out and kind of harvest and create these cubes so you have some on hand for the days you can't go out and get that fresh food.
Exactly. I go out every day. I live in the city. I have a 120 by 120 lot. I live on the mill pond in Linden, Michigan. And so I got water on one side, neighbors on both the other sides. I've changed over every plant on my property to something that rabbits can eat. Took me 3 years to do it. Fish, something like that. I still have a couple things that I'm playing with, but
well, it's always an ongoing process.
Yeah, I cut stuff every day, and half of it I feed fresh, and half of it I store. And when I mean I store it, some of it I cube up fresh, some of it I'll just throw in these hanging dryers that I found on Amazon.com. Yeah, I got links on my site to it. You guys can check that out if you want to put them in the details at some point. But
we can get that in the show notes.
I'll air dry the ingredients and then store them up so that at a later time or in winter or whatever, I can make these cubes fresh if I want to with dried ingredients. And since I know different ingredients it's like making cookies. You can have different recipes.
Right.
For different times. If your rabbit's pregnant, you might want her to have a little bit more or something. If you've got an old buck that you're overwintering, you might want to have less protein, for example. So I can take these ingredients and make me a cookie recipe and make my cubes.
Now you're making me hungry. Cookies.
Cookies.
So what I like is, it's perfect for making food for rabbits, but you've got a lot more applications for that. And that's actually the whole reason I started into rabbits was an alternative fuels motive.
Yep.
And I'm looking at that thinking, wow, I can make fuel briquettes very easily.
That's what I mean. I have so much rabbit poop laying around my yard and that I really am looking for things to do with it. And I saw that. That's the first thing that I thought of. Wow, I can run a gasifier on this.
Yep.
I can run generators on this. I can burn it in a rocket mass heater. So now we've got the whole cycle covered and we're not wasting anything.
Yep. Pretty much. This same press will make feed cubes. The rabbits then make poop, lots of poop. From that, we can make fuel cubes if you add dried leaves, twigs, yard stuff, shredded paper, junk mail, you name it, cardboard, whatever you have that'll burn, dry stuff, you can put in there and you can make them into 2 1/4-inch cubes that work, by the way, very well on a rocket stove or a rocket mass heater. So if you want to heat your rabbitry, you can use the excess rabbit poop to turn around and reheat your rabbitry.
True.
Along with junk mail and all that kind of stuff.
But it's 110
or
degrees.
You can go to flamethrower and burn zombies with it.
Hey, there you go. That's more my style.
That was cool, by the way. Yeah. That was cool, by the way.
well, I mean, rabbits are only so cute and fluffy, right? You got to add a little pizzazz to them.
That's right.
So now,
and then everybody's looking around, and they're seeing all this rabbit poop, and not everybody's got to burn rabbit poop. So what do you do with it all?
Yeah.
Other people have alpacas, sheep, goats, chickens, all kinds of creatures and critters, all us urban farmers and rural farmers. What do you do with it all? Well, you can also make seed starter cubes out of this that we call rabbit cubes or rabbit pots. The square ones are cubes, the round ones are pots. A real high-tech answer there.
I like it. Keep it simple.
So you can make a rabbit pot.
Yeah. Now you can, instead of trying to give away your rabbit food to other gardeners or stuff like that. Yeah, you can, but it's hard to stay lit.
I think I've told this story on the air, but I was running a gasifier off of rabbit manure, and I was right in the smoke for like an hour and a half. My eyes were burning, they're all red, and I smelled like burnt dookie. And I walked into a convenience store and I got asked if I was smoking marijuana by the clerk. I had to tell her that she's been buying some crap weed if that's what it smelled like while she smoked it. Anyway.
I know this is a family rated show, so I can't say it's good shit, man.
I think you just did.
Oh, no, did I say that out loud? Okay.
You're all right. Oh, that's funny. So I'm excited. I actually just got my Cubit press on.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring it.
I totally forgot.
It's not in your truck?
No, it's not in my truck.
I'm amazed he got it out of his truck, so I'm impressed. If he got it out of his truck and is using it, it means it's an awesome product. So.
I walked to the mailbox and picked it up and then walked home. Otherwise, I probably would still have it in my truck.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing. I want to try it, so.
Oh, it's awesome because in this design, there's 4 holes in the bottom plate that you could mount right to a table if you wanted to, or it's heavy enough that it can stand alone. And I know that, as with most products, there's going to be some additions and some modifications and possibly, some accessory kits. I'm hoping in the future. Just because we're men doesn't mean we can't accessorize.
Yeah, well, and this, you can use this thing to generate income off of your rabbits too. I mean, another source of income to help pay for, if you're growing your own food, the fodder in the yard, and now you can take this and you can sell the rabbit pots, and as seed starters at a local farmer's market, you've now increased your income and you've got even more reason to raise rabbits. So now you're getting free meat out of it.
Love it.
Right.
Don, you're such a capitalist.
Actually, that was an incidental. When we started out, it was for feed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then we said, hey, we can do fuel. And then the rabbit pots was just, oh heck, man, we could do this. That's the biggest thing. That's what everybody's going bonkers for because rabbits poop a lot.
Yeah.
Critters poop a lot. And you have a lot of it. So people are trying to give it away. They're putting it in 50-pound feed sacks and trying to sell it for $5, stuff like that. You make these rabbit pots out of it, 2 1/4 inch cube, throw in 1 seed and a little bit of your compost. Get your plant coming up about 1 inch and take it to the farmer's market. And all of the rabbiteers that I'm talking to so far, from California to Maine, are telling me anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a pop.
Right.
Nice.
So how many 2 1/4 inch cubes can you get out of a 50-pound sack of rabbit poop? I haven't counted them yet, but now you're talking some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can more than feed your rabbits for free if you're buying the food. By selling these things like the farmer's market or at your own farm stand or developing your own customers. You guys know how to do that. You've done it, so I know you do.
You could say that start selling like hotcakes, but don't sell them as hotcakes, as that would get a little confusing.
No, not as hotcakes. Yeah. Now we've had some people that are into worms, raising worms on rabbit poop. They're making vermicube.
Yeah, I do the rabbit. Rabbit poop is phenomenal for raising worms. In fact, I didn't know I had worms until we had rabbits. So
I was going to say, I was about to call you out because pretty sure that was an accidental vermiculture you started.
It works great. And now I'm loving it. And worms out here go for upwards, and I'm not kidding here. You can get $100 a pound, or a pound for worms out here.
Yeah, it's
$25 a quarter pound.
$25 per quarter
pound. I thought it was bad here.
Red wrigglers, right?
Yeah, for red wigglers. Yeah. So
I thought it was bad here.
Yeah. And Our rabbits are growing those suckers for free. So how do you use the rabbit cube in the vermiculture?
Well, basically, instead of just rabbit poop, you can mix composted rabbit poop and vermicompost together in your own custom blend and make cubes out of it. Because there are a lot of people that are, they want vermicompost to grow their plants in.
Right.
Different people want different things. That's the great thing about the American consumer is we're spoiled. We have big variety. Everybody has their own favorite. So those that want to buy worm poop, we can sell them worm cubes. Vermicubes, we call them.
Now, you were talking about special making cubes for quail and chicken too, right? At first thought when you said vermicubes, I was thinking that you actually had worms in the cubes.
Well, we do that too.
That could be messy. I just think of smushing all these worms.
Oh yeah,
that was
red worms. Okay, you take the red worms, and the way you off the red worms is you freeze them. Okay, and then you dry them on a screen, and then they flake right up. So then you get worm flakes. That's an ingredient. It's high meat protein ingredient, which is great for birds.
That
Chicken,
sounds delicious.
Tilapia.
Tilapia. Oh, that'd be cool to watch tilapia go after it.
Yeah, you guys would do that. Got a way of making pellets out of it too. I don't know if they'd be floaters or sinkers. I'm not sure. Haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, I prefer floaters.
But basically, I don't have any here living in the city. So I have wild birds, wild squirrels, and my rabbits. Okay, I have a small herd here at the house in the city. I have 5 acres out in the country where my son lives too. But here, that's what I have to play with. And making those cubes up and putting them out on the deck rail and watching the wild birds tear them up prompted some of the folks in the Rabbit Pots group on Facebook that raise quail commercially to go on and make some quail cubes. And they tell me they're just tearing them up.
Well,
so
one positive
they're loving it.
that I really see is, the cage floor is designed to allow rabbit poop to fall through it. And since it has a wide enough gap, it's allowing pellets to fall through it too. So if the rabbits get a little western with the way that they're eating, the standard 3/16 pellets are going to fall through the cage, or the 1/4-inch pellets will fall through the cage. With these cubes, you can set it right in on the cage floor, and you're going to get a lot less waste.
Yep.
So even
They'll still waste a little.
Yeah, but even
Not
if you were to take commercially available pellets and dissolve them and repress them as cubes, you're going to get a higher efficiency. And plus, you can add in your own mix.
Yeah.
And we have folks that are doing that too with us. Going away from cubes is a radical change to a lot of people. I mean, all of the books up until I wrote mine, really, for rabbits, said that if you feed anything to a rabbit less than 6 months old, it's fresh and green, it'll get sick and die.
Yeah, because that's how it works in wild.
Name of the books on your show, but they're the well-known books. That's what they say in them.
Yeah,
you can name anything you want on our show. Yeah, I don't mind.
Well, that's when I first turned Hostile Hair into a business, there was a guy that was also raising them, and he told me flat out that there's too much moisture in green grasses and stuff for rabbits. And I'm looking at him thinking, I've watched wild rabbits feasting on the greenest, wettest grasses available, and they're fine. You're full of crap.
There has been rabbits for I don't know how many thousand years. There's been rabbits for a long time, living on the ground and eating fresh green stuff.
Yeah.
They're designed by nature to eat grasses and leafy greens.
Yep.
They are hindgut fermenters. They can take grass, which we can't eat. If we eat grass, we just chew up our innards. It's just, speaking of rabbits, I just had one jump on my lap. I have a house rabbit too, named Mufasa. He says hi.
This is when I say don't play with your food.
Yeah, don't play with your food. This is my 14-pound house pet right here.
Oh, wow.
But their systems are designed to turn grass into about 15 to 18% protein. when they re-eat their cecotropes, if you were to have those tested to see what their content was, you would take grass, which is 8% protein or 7% protein.
Uh-huh.
That's what they ate, and mixed with, I'm not a scientist. I'm not exactly sure everything that goes on in there. But as it comes out of cecotrope, those little grape cluster-looking things that they re-eat, protein's right up there with the best pelleted rabbit food you can buy.
They are very impressive animals, that's for sure.
They are.
Well, Boyd, we're going to have to wrap up for today. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing some knowledge with us. The name of your Facebook page is Backyard Meat Rabbit Group, correct?
So UrbanRabbitProject.com is the parent company.
Okay.
That's the company that I started. That's my educational company.
Okay.
I have an educational company like you guys do. And that owns the series of books that I've done, Backyard Meat Rabbits, Beyond the Pellet, and Rabbits in Colonies to date. It also owns the group, Facebook.com groups/Backyard Meat Rabbits. We also have a store, BYMRmarketplace.com. So where members of the group, basically can sell their stuff.
Perfect.
On that site to an
it's Rabbit's Craigslist.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I will go ahead and make sure we link out to all of that in the show notes at wegrowours.com.
Okay, thanks.
Well, Boyd, again, thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to talking with you again.
Anytime. You guys are great. See you later.
Things just got real. The drugstore is closed and the doctor is unavailable. What are you going to do? Stock your medicine cabinet and bug out bag with Nature's Alternative essential oils. Visit mylavenderlife.com for all your essential oil needs.
It's always nice talking to that guy.
Boyd.
Sorry, I had to say it. I knew who I was talking about.
Oh, we all knew, but
Anyway, he regulates that group very well, and it's kind of hard to do when you've got 17,000 people on a group.
Yeah, and that I've noticed that he keeps the animal rights people off of there fairly quickly.
Oh yeah,
because I've seen a couple of posts.
Yeah, they pop up and I can't believe you're eating rabbits. Gone.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys haven't had a chance to check out. I think I posted Nick's video, the response to the animal rights activists, a few times. I'll put it again in the show notes because it's just so good. You got to go watch it. It's so funny watching him talk to animal rights activists.
Because I'm trying not to use swear words.
It's a good video. I like it.
In anger.
And
pull out my flamethrower. Back on topic. Yeah, we have both sides of politics talking or listening to us. And, this is supposed to be a unifying thing.
Yes, it is.
3 times a day we sit around a table, whether, you're
no matter what your political affiliation. And it's things like Monsanto that can unite. And I am all for that. So yeah, this is going to be a short show, I guess, because we don't have much to talk about today. We got Boyd on. Awesome product. I'm going to put the links on there. We want to just tell you guys about some of those upcoming shows. We're really looking forward to the weapon, self-defense. We might do it. That's another thing. Angie's doing this new oil company. She was with Young Living before. She came on episode 30. Wasn't that the episode she came on?
Yeah.
She did about the oils, not selling any company. So go listen to episode 30. Now, My Lavender Life is a show sponsor, and she's moved over to a new oil company called AMEO and AMEO.
Dude,
whatever it is.
I don't even know. Don't ask
She's
me
got
to
me
spell
hooked on these things now because these are freaking awesome. So I'm even trying to get Nick hooked on them.
I'm thinking about I see a good application as far as animal care without going into the antibiotics and disinfectants and things like that.
And she is working really hard on trying to research that. The problem is there's no research on it.
Yeah.
So the only, and
we'll have to do
we're not a
testing.
scientist, but I don't freaking know how to test for that kind of stuff. But what we're doing is we're using
as a titration.
We're using it. We'll see what happens. So speaking of rabbit, I had really good rabbit this week. I did some carnitas, slow cooked them. Oh, they came out so good.
8 hours you put it in?
8 hours in slow cooker on low. Yeah.
Any sauces or just water?
Yeah, we use the Rotel and crushed red peppers and crushed tomatoes. Put the 2 rabbits in there. Slow cooked it for 8 hours. I kind of drained the liquid out and shredded everything and threw in a couple cans of black beans and some chili beans and some Ass Reaper hot sauce and some crushed red chili pepper. It's called Ass Reaper. I'm not cussing. It's what it is. It's called Ass Reaper. And if you took any amount of it, you'd know why. But I put a couple of drops of that in there just to give it a little kick, and we had it with the, kind of carnitas and the tacos, and had some guests over. So phenomenal. Oh, it's nice to be able to grow your own food and show people that. I mean, not everything with that meal was done, but we do our own whole wheat flour tortillas with our own grown stuff. We'll mill that down. And try and do as much of it as we can from the gardens. Pulled apart the aquaponics system this weekend too. Got that all cleaned up. I'm reorganizing the whole greenhouse. So
that'll be exciting. I can't wait to come out there and take a look at it.
Yeah, we're going to kind of put everything in a line.
Okay. So
make it a little bit easier accessible to get to. And yeah, we talked about that with, on the last aquaponics episode with, Roger. Mm-hmm. We talked about kind of the layout, that 3 layout. Yeah. And how it doesn't quite work. So I figured, heck, might as well do it. But after you move all that hydrogen, boy, my back is feeling it today. So.
I thought that's where you had kids.
Yeah, they were, I know. Sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself than it is to argue with the kids about doing it.
Son, you don't have a big enough cattle prod.
Yeah, well, my kids are a little young some of them are, to be doing that. Oh. And the oldest is back out looking for a job.
Oh, is he?
So, yeah, he actually got a job today.
Oh.
And do more call center stuff.
What's he gonna do?
Call center.
Be a shoemaker at a centipede farm? Sorry, little Christopher Walken's there.
So did you have a small business shout out today?
I did.
And you forgot.
And I forgot it.
Yeah. How about I can give one?
All right.
Spinato's is a big pizza place around here. Yeah. We've gone to Spinato's for lunch. Other day I bring my boss and I say, this place is great, and they're really quick too. Cool. So we sat down, ordered something. And ordered the garlic bread, the cheesy garlic bread. And like 20 minutes later, I said, no garlic bread yet? She's like, oh, hold on. Don't worry about it. It's on the house. Cool. And 20 minutes after that, I was like, are we getting our food anytime? She's like, oh my goodness, they didn't. She goes back. She's like, forget it. The whole thing is on the house. You guys have whatever you want for dessert, which we couldn't eat at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing on the house because of slow service. So I know that's a small business shout out. My point is the customer service is awesome.
Yeah.
And if they do screw up, they fix it and they fix it right. They make you feel good and the food is amazing. So yeah, I guess it wasn't the best way to do a small business shout out.
Yeah. Well, and I've been there before where you're in and out. You got,
and it's good
food and it's right now. In fact, one of the local radio shows, Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a podcast on that, didn't you?
I
did.
Not
a podcast, but
you did
they
made it a podcast, yeah.
What it is, get me the link to that again. I'll throw it in the show.
Okay. Well, what it is every Friday, they do something called the Fireside Chats.
Yeah.
And basically everybody complains that they never answer the phone. So every Friday for about half an hour, they'll pick up, the phones for whatever you want, just as long as you're not swearing and you don't waste their time. That's what they tell you. Like, as long as you're not wasting our time, go. And so last I've actually been on there twice now. The first time I called up and I said, yeah, I'm tired of these GMOs. Like, okay. And I got an answer for that. We need to eat more rabbit. And the guy that's vetting the people coming through is like, oh, okay, hold on. So for like 12 minutes, I'm on there talking about, and then once I'm on the air, I don't sound like the redneck anymore.
Right.
But I talked to them about why you should raise rabbits and stuff, and they tore me apart, and it was awesome. And then just recently, I did it again, but this time I called up and said, yeah, I got an answer for these high fuel crisis that we're going through, and talk it up, and the guy's like, okay, what is it? It's like, I think we can run vehicles on rabbit poop. Okay, hold on. I think it was the same guy.
Yeah. Stay tuned to the end of the show. I'll throw it after the music.
Okay.
I'll see if I can put it on there, and we'll put it on right after the music.
It should be. I don't know. Can you download it from iTunes yet? Again, I know it was free on there, but I don't know if
I'll figure it out.
Oh, we've got a pirate here.
It's not a pirate. I can play it and record it and put it on the thing.
Isn't that piracy?
No, it's you. I think I can put you on our own podcast, can't I?
I don't think you have permission.
Uh-oh.
All right. On that note, I think we're done.
I think we're done too. Join us next week.
Okay. Well, to find us, you're going to want to go to facebook.com/WeGrowOurs, WeGrowOurs.com, pound WeGrowOurs on Twitter. Or is that hashtag? Fat tag? Yes, fat tag. Finally, a Twitter bird for me. It's a turkey.
Trend that. Fat tag. Fat tag, Nick and Don.
Oh,
all right, no. Twitter.com/WeGrowOurs.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, go through the rest of it.
I don't know the rest
sponsors
of them.
and everything.
Oh yeah, we do. Bud Out. They're awesome.
Perfect.
Quit smoking. Go to Bud Out. Budout.com.
Go to our website.
Oh yes. Website.
It's right there on the side that says show sponsors. Click on it. It's Bud Out E6.
Bud Out E6. Okay.
Yes. My Lavender Life.
I'm crying right now. I'm sorry.
My Lavender Life. It's again on our website. That's if you guys want to learn about oils and the good stuff, listen to episode 30 and then go look at mylavenderlife.com or on our website. And that's the Mayo. I hope I'm saying that right. My wife's going to smack me because if I say I mention oils, now she'll listen to the episode.
Oh, of course.
Yes. So, and then Hostile Hair.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The one guy.
And we're giving away a 3-tier. Nick is giving away a 3-tier cage. So
that's right. The 3-tier cage will do 960 pounds of rabbit a year if you got 3 does in it. And as soon as the We Grow Ours Facebook page hits 3,000 likes, again, that's the We Grow Ours Facebook page, not Hostile Hair. We're already over that on Hostile Hair. So yes, mission accomplished. I see all the posts of people like, oh, looks like you're already over 3,000. Yeah, when are we going to get our cage? Fault. Yeah, well, thanks, Don.
No problem.
Screwing up the people.
How many people do you have?
What?
How many people on that page?
3,800, somewhere around there.
Okay. Well, they all need to come over and like our page, and then we'll be giving away the thing.
Exactly. So, listen to the podcast, win a cage.
There you go.
All right. Well, on that note, are we done? Did we miss anything?
I think we're good.
All right, I'm going home.
Stay tuned for the, if I can find it, I'll put your Holmberg morning sickness thing
If nothing else, there'll be a link in the notes, right?
Sure.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Go right ahead, Nick. You're on the Fireside Chats. Don't waste our time. Go.
Well, I'll try not to. I figured out how to get away from these high fuel costs.
Okay.
You know, about 6 years ago, I was playing around carbonizing some straw, and I realized there's a lot of fuel coming off of there that wasn't being used for anything. It was just kind of an indicator.
Right.
And basically, I found a way to release hydrocarbons from biomass, and it gave me an idea to try and run an engine on it. I thought that I had invented something. I was super stoked.
Yeah.
Took it to my professors at NAU.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, that's called gasification. They came up with it in 1880. I'm like, oh, you know, totally let the wind out of my sails, if you will. I thought I was all smart and stuff, but
now wait a second, Nick. Hold on before you go on. Don't sell yourself short here. You did invent it because you didn't know it was there. It's just somebody else did it first.
But in the industry, they call that lack of research.
That is true. That's a good point. You didn't look into it. Yeah, you did one thing.
You ran with it that I created.
One thing wrong after you figured it out. You didn't at least Google and see, is this a thing yet?
Yeah, well, I was just way too proud and just stupid. But in the meantime, I started looking for a way to pelletize and turn unorganized biomass into an organized fuel source.
Very smart man, I think, Nick. Go ahead.
Well, kind of. You're not going to think I'm so smart here in a minute, but instead of buying a pelletizer, I bought 5 rabbits and fed them grass clippings, and they organized the unorganized biomass into perfect little pellets.
They pooped out your fuel.
That's right. And they had a consistent moisture content, size, density. It was perfect.
But they killed the rabbits.
Well, that's one of the great things about playing with biofuel and having rabbits is you could also eat the rabbits.
Okay. What's wrong with people?
Oh, I don't know. I'm a mass murderer of the cute and fluffy, and I'm always going to be that way.
This is all in order to save $1 a gallon.
No, actually, it gets to cost around 30 cents a gallon.
For you, but you got to buy rabbits. You got to spend your whole day.
You have a population problem there.
Yeah, and you got to spend your whole day feeding rabbits, all this stuff. It costs the same.
No, because here's the deal. I have barley seeds. I put barley seeds in a hydroponic system that grows fodder, feed for my rabbits, and that costs me about $10 a year per bunny.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your time.
And effort. And
what's your time worth to you?
Yeah, but you think about it. America's not afraid of death anymore. We're afraid of inconvenience.
Very true.
Because of the invention of the refrigerator and supermarkets, people think it's somebody else's responsibility to grow food for them.
Right.
And then, meanwhile, they go to their cubicles and they look at the computer screen and they repeat this phrase, I am not a slave. I am not a slave.
All right.
That's where it is.
You're getting a little Fight Clubby on me here, Nick. You're making me nervous.
Well, I'm not. Oh, okay, let's make you real nervous. I was just on Doomsday Preppers with this whole thing.
Right, this is insanity. All right, Nick, we have a fast version today. If you want to follow Nick's plan, put it up on our Facebook page, and you too can own a crap load of rabbits and have rabbit
grow
crap.
Your own fuel.
Drive your
HostileHair.com. Yeah. I got all the plans on there. Come check it out.
The Hostile Hair.
Hostile
Hair.
You got me there. Hare. H-A-R-E.
H-A-R-E, that's right, like an angry rabbit.
All right, I like that. Actually, I'm going to go to that now. You sold me back at the end. Nice job, Nick. Thanks.
All right. Love you, John.
I love you. It's Nick, the rabbit weirdo.
Start.
Yeah. See, this
He's
is why
a prepper.
We only do this once a week. Lance, are you there?
That's no ordinary rabbit. Look at the bones.
Look at the bones. I warned you.
Don't chop his head off. No problem, Governor. Jesus Christ.
He can leap for miles. His big pointy teeth. I warned you.
Sorry. But we can sit and quote Monty Python for hours here if given this hour.